In our American Ghost series, we tell the stories of hauntings that have been all but forgotten. Today we look at some of the most infamous ghosts in America. As always, these stories often contain sensitive themes, and we at MRR Media Group and our community partners, the Conscious Kiddos and Morbidly Beautiful, want to acknowledge these tragedies while honoring the memory of those involved by sharing their stories and raising awareness for similar situations that are still happening today. We can't talk about haunted places without mentioning the Waverly Hills Sanatorium. Built in 1910, the sanatorium was designed to treat those with severe cases of tuberculosis. At its peak, it housed over 2,000 patients, many of whom were there to die. It wasn't long before rumors began circulating about the sanatorium being haunted. And while there are many stories that have come out of Waverly Hills, perhaps none are more famous than that of Mary Lee Walls. Born in 1868, Mary became engaged to a man named John in 1910. But tragedy struck when he was diagnosed with tuberculosis. John spent his final days at Waverly Hills, where Mary would visit him until he passed away. She was so distraught over his death that she took her own life in his room, which is now known as Room 502. It's said that Mary's ghost still walks the halls of Waverly Hills looking for her lost love. While most associate the Hill House with Shirley Jackson's novel, The Haunting of Hill House, the home had a tragic history long before the story was written. In 1835, the home was purchased by the family of Charles, the 4th Lord Dorchester. Not long after moving into the mansion, strange things began to happen. One night, Lord Dorchester awoke in his bed to find scratches all over his body. He assumed that his wife was behind the markings and confronted her. She denied doing it, but admitted to hearing strange noises coming from the attic. As the scratches continued to appear, the couple became suspicious of each other and eventually separated. When Charles's wife died in 1843, he remarried, but the scratches continued. This time, they appeared on his new bride, making her question if she'd married a monster. Soon after, Charles locked himself in his bedroom and shot himself. While the ghost of Charles has never been seen, the ghost of his wife is said to appear as a shadow figure in the halls of the mansion. When one thinks of the Salem witch trials, images of the afflicted girls dancing in the forest come to mind. What many don't know is that one of the accused witches was a man named Giles Corey. During the trials, Corey refused to plead guilty or not guilty, which resulted in his wife and 2 sons being imprisoned. When Corey's wife could no longer afford to pay his bail, he was pressed to death by heavy stones. He was placed between 2 boards, and as the stones were dropped on top of him, he continued to cry out, "More weight, more weight." Following his death, Corey's estate was confiscated, including his house, which was then torn down. Some say that the ghost of Giles Corey still haunts the area, searching for his lost property. Waverly Hills may be the most famous TB sanatorium in the country, but it wasn't the only one. In the 1940s, a new sanatorium was built in Wisconsin, which would become known as the Wisconsin Veterans Home at King. Shortly after it opened, residents began reporting strange activity, including disembodied voices and the feeling of being watched. In 1948, a resident died in an elevator shaft and was found by another resident who was taking a midnight snack break. Since then, the ghost of the elevator resident has been spotted by staff and patients alike. Few places in New Orleans are as famous as the LaLaurie Mansion. Built in 1794, the French Quarter Mansion was once the home of Delphine LaLaurie. In 1834, a fire broke out in the home, and when firefighters arrived, they found several slaves burned to death inside. After this incident, Delphine fled to France, where she lived out the remainder of her life. Since then, the mansion has changed hands several times, with each owner finding out the hard way that owning the mansion brings bad luck. One owner even put the home back up for sale after just 3 weeks, claiming that he couldn't take the paranormal activity anymore. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave us a like and subscribe to the channel. With that, let's take a look at who's haunting your state. Thank you for watching.